All right, fourth graders, happy math class. We are going to start on page 561. And as always, this page is going to be the page that you keep to help you in IXL. Okay? These definitions and terms and these examples are what's going to help you get through IXL. You have 35 questions that you can do today. It's W5, but you're definitely going to want to keep these terms handy so that you can use it as a reference to look back to. Okay? So today we're talking about three different kinds of lines. We're talking about intersecting lines. These are lines that can intersect at any angles. So these ones are diagonal. We're talking about parallel lines. Parallel lines run right next to each other. I don't know if you've ever heard of parallel parking, okay? They will never touch. They can extend for 500 miles. They will never touch. They run parallel to each other. And then perpendicular lines, now you're gonna notice this form right angle, that word is gonna keep popping up, okay? The perpendicular lines form right angles. So you can see there's little boxes in there because that is at a right angle to each other. These two, intersecting lines and perpendicular lines, are probably gonna be the ones you get confused the most on IXL. But we're gonna do a couple examples together, so hopefully that'll help you. All right, so keep this page as a reference. And let's jump to page 563. Okay. Here they give us a model. It's basically a picture of a whole bunch of lines that are running crazy to each other, okay? And they're asking us to name different lines. So the first thing they're asking us to do is name a pair of lines that are perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular lines form the right angle, okay? So we need to look. Where in our picture do you see the right angle symbol? I see it right here, which means that my pair of perpendicular lines is going to be these two lines, okay? This is a symbol, this down here, is the symbol for perpendicular. So I'm going to write that FJ and line FJ is perpendicular to line HG, okay? Because here is FJ, here is HG, and they're sharing the right angle symbol, which means they're perpendicular to each other. Now we need to name a pair of lines that runs parallel to each other. In our diagram, there is only one pair of line that runs parallel to each other. Can you see them? Two lines that won't ever cross. If you chose DC and FJ, you were correct. Those two lines are parallel to each other, and they will never intersect. No matter how far they go in life, they will never intersect. We use this symbol for parallel. So we're going to write that line DC is parallel to line FJ. Okay, so all these symbols, they actually mean something. All right, so let's look down at the bottom. Oopsie. They want us to draw and label the figure described. So we're not using the diagram anymore. We're reading what it's telling us, and we're drawing the picture. So the first one is line RS. It is parallel to line TU. Well, if we know parallel lines run straight across from each other, and you can make them go up and down, you can make them go left to right, but you do need to label them and add little arrows at the end. The little arrows signify that that line can continue forever and they'll never cross. All right, so now we need KL and KM. All right, so we need line KL and line KM. Doesn't really tell us what those lines are doing. So we could have line KL, and you can see that there's only one arrow arrow on that, which remember is a ray. So this is going to be K. L is up here. We already have the K. So now we're trying to find M, and it can really go any direction because it's not telling us which kind of lines they are. So this is line KL, and this is line KM. If they share a letter, they probably share a point too. And CD and DE are perpendicular. Remember, that's the right angle. So we need to have a perfectly big letter L. And what letter do they share? They share the D, so that's going to go at the vertice. There's a C up top, and there's an E down at the bottom. And you can even draw in the right angle symbol because that is a right angle line. Okay? All right. Let's move ourselves down here. 9, 10, and 11. Why don't you go ahead to try those? Remember that 9 is perpendicular. 10 is telling you intersecting. And 11 has the symbol for parallel. So one of each, a perpendicular, an intersecting, and a parallel. All right. Woo! Come back. So JK and LM are perpendicular to each other. Now they don't share a letter. So I'm going to draw 2 lines, and I'm going to signify that that is a right angle. And I'm going to label my lines J, K, and L, M. 2 different lines intersecting at a right angle. ST and UV are intersecting each other. That means they're crossing. So I'm going to draw myself an X. I'm going to put my arrows, and I'm going to label my line. ST is intersecting UV. Okay? Number 11 has AB running parallel like railroad tracks to FG. So I'm going to draw my railroad tracks. And I'm going to label my lines that if they were actually straight, they would never run into each other. Okay, now I know lines can be a little tricky, which is why you are going to keep page 561 handy dandy so you can use it when it comes to IXL. IXL is W5. You have 35 questions, okay? Some of them are going to ask you if the lines are perpendicular. They're going to be yes/no questions, and some of them are going to ask you to pick what kind of lines they are. So the first ones are asking you, are these lines perpendicular? Perpendicular is the right angle. I'm going to say yes because they look perpendicular to me, okay? All right, the next one, are these lines intersecting? Well, I'm going to say yes because they look like they're intersecting. Perfect. Are these lines perpendicular? Well, look back on your sheet. Lines that run right on top of each other, are they perpendicular? No, they're parallel. So we know that is a no. Are these lines intersecting? Intersecting lines cross each other, right? They are crossing each other, so that means they are intersecting. Are these lines parallel? Do they look like railroad tracks? Why, yes, they do. Are these lines parallel? They can't be parallel if they run into each other. We'd have a train crash, so no. All right, so I already did 6 questions and I'm at 49. You have 35 questions to go until you can reach as high as you can reach. If you have questions and you keep getting them wrong, please message me. I don't want anyone to get a 35% on this, okay? If you're not understanding what's happening and you keep getting error, just hit me a message on Google Hangouts and I will be glad to help you. Good luck with your math. Let me know if you have any questions.